Okay, so I've had my pout. I'm kind of done. Yeah, I'm human just as much as anybody else, just as many any other gamer. It doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are. You know, putting yourself through mental distress is not a good thing to do. You just need to take some time, back off. For me, I recover pretty quickly. Okay, so analytically speaking, what do I want out of Minecraft? I just want to play. I want to have some fun. I want to do some exploring. I don't want to have to worry about losing a shit ton of materials and things when I go do that exploring. I guess what it comes down to is that I've played so much Conan Exiles and I'm so used to keeping my levels and my learned skills that losing XP levels in Minecraft is just kind of a feel bad for me. Losing my loot, I don't care, honestly, because most times what I'm going to be playing, what I'm going to be out there exploring with is stuff that I can easily replace, that both in Conan and in Minecraft. Elder Scrolls, perfectly safe game. I mean, you could die over and 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 over. You never lose your levels. You never lose your experience skills or whatever. You never lose your loot. It's a very low risk game when it comes to the whole survival aspect, because it's not a survival aspect. It's an action RPG, MMO, fantasy RPG. Same thing with Destiny. You don't lose your XP. You don't lose your loot. And death is kind of like integrated into the mechanics of the game. Yet you get penalized for character death in the game, which is it's kind of weird. If you're an eternal guardian, uh, which means that you can get blasted apart and Ghost will bring you right back to your last known game state. Um, what's the point of being, penalized for being wiped out? Yeah, I'd rather play a character that gets kicked to orbit when you fail the mission. That, of course, being full team wipe. But anyway, that's all semantics and arguments for some other time. Um, right now, my mustache is doing funky shit with me, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have watched my other video when I play Destiny. I talk about the three states of gaming, basic three states of gaming. There's farming, there's binging, and then there's grinding. And farming is like you're doing things because you know you're going to get a certain reaction or a result, and you do it a certain number of times because you're looking for to that particular reaction or result. For instance, literal farming in Minecraft. Planting potatoes, getting potatoes back, plus more. Um, then you have binging, which is like you're in an activity that's on a positive loop, and you're not even thinking about. Excuse me. Breakfast was good. Uh, you're not even actually really thinking about what your final goal is going to be because you're too wrapped up in the actual kinesthetics of the activity, the physical activity itself, that you're just kind of having fun, And when binging typically results in sitting down at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and getting up at 9 p.m. at night and going, "Holy shit! I didn't realize I did that." Yeah, you got up to have food. Maybe you engaged with some family and friends. Maybe you checked a little bit of social media. Maybe you went to the bathroom a few times. But the time spent in the game is totally irrelevant. You're just having that much of a good time. Grinding, of course, is like everything you do, you're only thinking about something else you could be doing. Iron Quest 2022 was supposed to be the world that I played regardless of whatever else I do. I mean, no matter how many other worlds were, I was going to commit to playing this world. And something, I feel bad, but the Nether really is a deal breaker for me. Having access to potions is a real deal breaker for me because so much of what I do and the scope of my activity in a game of Minecraft is dependent upon what levels of enchanting I can get on my gear. And it doesn't have to be diamond, it could be iron. And how well I can augment my ability with potions. Most of my potions are potions of healing and potions of harming. And I will tip my arrows with healing and harming, instant health and instant damage, specifically because, fighting the undead or any other mob. And then, of course, having a stack of, burn protection and instant health is always, a plus when you're playing in the Nether. And it's like, well, I mean, what's my final goal in the game of Minecraft other than just surviving the year in this world? If I'm just going to survive the world, then it's really, I'm already there. I'm already set up. I've got an economy that's rolling along pretty well with the villagers. I've explored the region around the village enough to realize that, this is an extreme hills biome because of caves and cliffs, but makes everything extreme hills. And I'm not even really operating on very much iron because I'm trading with a weaponsmith to get iron axes, which then I chop down trees to turn into sticks to trade with the Fletcher to get the emeralds to buy the iron axes from the weaponsmith. And then the leftover emeralds I'm then spending on potions of XP to enchant weapons and tools and armor to do further things with. And, having access to a viable nether fortress kind of actually ramps that up. It's a force multiplier. I've been in some remnants in other worlds, and I don't really find them to be very, I don't know, spectacular. I don't get it. I know netherite is kind of a thing. I know there's trophies involved, but I have long since not been a trophy chaser in so long. That was, sorry, redundant. If you look at my trophies on PlayStation, you'll see that I got to a certain point, and then I was kind of like, yeah, you know what, this is an endless loop. It's not like playing games of Magic the Gathering or Dungeons and Dragons. It's like with Magic the Gathering, the meta is always changing. There's always a competitor who's going to outthink your deck or your playstyle, and you can and the fun of the game. The engagement in the game is collecting the cards to build that deck that is undefeatable. And then your opponents are like, thank you for giving me a real challenge. If they're real Magic the Gathering players, they will be excited to come back the next time with a deck that beats that deck. And then of course you have to meta game on that idea. Well, do I come back with the same deck or do I build a different one when I face this person? And that's part of the that's part of the engagement loop with Magic the Gathering is the constant power creep. Even though a lot of people talk down about power creep, I personally think that the entirety of gameplay is basically power creep. Dungeons and Dragons or RPGs in general, just about any game that involves leveling a character is power creep. Leveling your deck is the same way. You can look at your Magic the Gathering deck as your character, and you want to level it up. You want to keep improving it. You want to trade out. You want to trade out that Incinerate for the Lightning Bolt. You want to trade up the Lightning Bolt for more board control. Or better creature removals spells. You want to trade up, your 2/2 bear for a 4/4 Jin or something. I don't. I have not played in the current environment of Magic the Gathering to know what really is, a so-called a good card. Um, but I understand. I played the game long enough to understand the mechanics about, a 2/2 ground creature is good, is preferred to a 1/1, and a 2/2 with flying is better than both of those. So you're always going to want to grow your deck, so to speak, grow that character, and so that's kind of fun. Or you're playing a game that has an ongoing narrative like Elder Scrolls. There's a story in there that while most would call it superficial. I mean, let's be fair. Most of what the MCU was superficial storytelling. Um, as engaging and as fun and entertaining as Loki, the TV show, was, it culminated in the introduction of a BBEG that we may or may not see in the next few next gen episodes of the Avengers. And again, there hasn't been a mind blowing, in my opinion, there hasn't been a mind blowing story in such a very long time. Since 1999 when The Matrix first came out, and that wasn't really a mind bender, honestly. I think it would have been better if the Wachowskis had been allowed to keep their original plot device of humans being hooked up to the machine world to augment its processing power. That the machines still wanted to hold on to human beings because our brains are still far more complex than any artificial intelligence or machine intelligence could ever be. And as the machine world grew, in order to maintain its harmony and its balance, it needed us to help keep it going. And I don't think that it was the bodies needed for the machine were in the thousands, or in the hundreds, or in the millions, or the hundreds of thousands. I think it was really like maybe a few thousand here and there, kind of situation. I don't know. I would love to get my hands on the original, production notes and maybe like a first draft of the script just to see what the true differences were. Because I mean, thematically, the movie played out the same. You have people trapped in this virtual world and people trying to get them out and free them, and a war between man and machine kind of situation, which is, it's a classic tropic theme in sci-fi in general. But the way the Matrix presented it visually was just so stunning and so unique and so engaging and so fun. And the Avengers stories, they were good. They had good, solid, dramatic arcs in it, but it read to me like the latest campaign from Critical Role or any number of source books for the 5e rule set. It just kind of does. I mean, because there's a standard to storytelling. Now, in Minecraft, there are some deep lore videos out there. Game Theory does a really good job of pulling that all together and giving you the idea that this is a world, that the world you're in is, has been rewritten so many times over, that there's all these ancient layers that you can peel back, like, well, who made these nether portals that we're finding now that are now ruined, and who made the stronghold portals, and why did they go to the end? Where did the Endermen really come from? Why are they able to traverse between our world and the end so easily? And in the Nether, the Endermen go everywhere, just like we can go everywhere as builders. What's the point of the villagers? Why do they look so different than Steve, and all that kind of stuff? And there's a lot of mysteries and things like that, but it's I don't know if it's actually a direct attribution or a anecdote, but Freud was one. Some people have said that Freud is known to be saying that sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, and I think that it's cute when people want to deep dive into games, into film, or to stories, and look for all these little things that maybe the designer, maybe the writer, put it in there just because it helped balance a certain thing in the scene, and it wasn't really meant to be anything more than just that. Like the whole thing about the creeper I talked about recently, that I don't really believe that the creeper started off as a malformed pig model. I really don't think that's the case. I think the creeper was made as the creeper because there needed to be something in the game that would directly threaten the player and all that the player does. Because I have played Minecraft worlds where I didn't build anything. I literally, macked a few sheep, made a bed, made a chest, and ran around with just what I could hold on my inventory, and left chests in locations around the map as backup supplies as I came through the area. I ran a purely nomadic character for a few months, really. And the only reason why I stopped playing that world is because it got the updates that kept coming in were so much so that it fucked the world. But I have recently done also a nomad game, um, and I'm trying to get into the point here. How long have I prattled here? 15 minutes? Yeah. Um, I'm trying to get to the point where the idea is that I'm getting to a point in gaming where I'm asking the question again, why am I doing this? Am I doing this to impress somebody? Am I doing this to challenge myself? Am I giving myself a hobby? Because honestly, I could just as easily spend my time building and painting Warhammer miniatures and then running a solo game against myself until such time as I can actually find a live opponent to sit down for 45 minutes for me. And that's the other thing too. I don't like spending hours and hours and hours in games anymore. I think the last time I spent more than 3 hours in a game was in Minecraft, and before that, the only other game where I would spend massive amounts of time in um, was Conan. Uh, I actually spent close to 7, 8 hours in Conan on average. I would only log in like 2 or 3 days a week, but during that time, I was farming and building and training thralls and stuff like that. And that's the other thing too, is that in Conan you have the ability to build whatever, wherever, but you can't dig into the map like Minecraft. I cannot physically change my map like I can in Minecraft. Well, in Minecraft, you really can't terraform. I can't turn a snow biome into a desert because it'll just be a snow-covered desert. I can't turn a desert into a taiga because then firstly, I don't think spruce can even grow in a desert. I've tried a couple of times in this current update, and it doesn't seem to work at all. In fact, spruce barely even grows in a savanna, in a prairie, like we're seeing on the screen right now. I could barely grow any spruce there. I'd have to have like a water source nearby or something like that for it to happen, which is fine. I don't really mind. But yeah, out of the game, the things that the deal breaker for me on a map. If I think of Minecraft as maps or worlds, uh, a village nearby on spawn, preferably a prairie village, uh, some spruce tree in visual range, and when I get to the Nether, a Nether fortress within visual range. I don't. It doesn't have to be right on the spawn, um, and but it has to be close by. And an old strategy I used to have with the Nether is like if I created a portal and I spawned in, there was no fortress within visual range. Then I would go about 5 or so chunks in any direction and build a new portal, and typically it would spawn a new portal in the Nether, and then I could start linking the portals together to travel through the Nether and the overworld rather quickly. And we have that going on in our main world, my kids and I. Uh, but I tried that 4 different times now in this Iron Quest world, and each and every one of them um, take me right back to the one portal I have in that world. And this means only one thing. Um, I'm going to have to spawn into that world and try to break that portal. But I have a fear that I have a feeling, a suspicion that when if I do that, break that portal in that world, let my character die in the Nether, come back to the overworld, make a new portal, I'm going to end up within about 5 or 6 blocks of that old portal because that's happened too, and it's kind of like, well, then the whole strategy of building multiple portals through the overworld in the Nether to traverse the map more, efficiently, basically a fast travel, becomes, a waste of time. Um, becomes useless. And so I guess what I'm trying to do is I'm rubber ducking here about whether or not do I want to keep running this world, because right now, if the whole idea is just to survive the map through 2022, then I have to be okay with letting the Nether go. I have to be okay with running um, without potions and just gaining levels to do the enchanting. This is all the enchanted stuff that I have right now, and it's okay. I mean, it's gonna do what I'm doing in the game, and that's kind of the thing I have to just kind of think about. That I could probably still get to the end, but the end is going to be a real challenge to fucking beat down without my potions and my arrows of harming against the dragon and all that other fun stuff. I'm sure there's other ways to do it. I'm probably just being stubborn here, but yeah, I think mathematically speaking, I've beaten this game for what I set out to do in the grander scope of things. Yeah, as long as I keep rotating these spruce trees and trading with those villagers, um, that's it. I mean, the only reason why my character dies in this game is when I go to the Nether, or if I, stay out past dark, and that's kind of it. I mean, when you think about it, um, not really inspired to grow the village, not really inspired to gain very many more levels for more enchanting. I mean, it would be kind of fun, I guess. I don't know. I think what I like is I like the one shot. I like the anthology feel of things. Excuse me a second. I like making new characters and leveling them up. And I think that might be an old school RPG thing. That might be something in my brain that got developed back in the early days of Dungeons and Dragons under the Moldvay rules, where you made characters on the regular because your characters are going to die. um, you're not gonna have them for very long because character death is a thing. Because if you were foolhardy enough to walk into the lair of a mind flayer at level 5, you might get past the first room. Um, and I think that's kind of cool. I do believe that that's actually a good thing. And re-leveling my character, getting XP on it, doesn't really make a difference because Minecraft is a game that's not measured by any standard alone, unless you want to measure it by the trophies. And there are certain trophies you really are not going to be able to get unless you've got potions available. Um, and without a Nether that has a fortress nearby, I don't know. It's like and it's so funny too because over the various iterations of this game, the ads and the mods and all that stuff, not the mods, but the updates. When I used to play this on Java back on PS4, it was like the Nether was pretty janky, and like some updates allowed the Nether fortress to spawn pretty darn close. Um, I really miss being able to select one map worlds and 9 map worlds and 15 map worlds and all that stuff. I miss that medium, large, and small world selections. Now you just get flat world, infinite, and I don't know what I haven't really looked at it. Um, and I'm like, yeah, I guess. The other thing you could probably do is, measure success in um, how big your village can grow. Can you get enough villagers into play that you practically lag your game out. I don't know. What is the upper limit of villagers? I think we have in our main world something like 30 villagers. This is like 3 golems running around. Um, so yeah, there's that. There's that idea. I mean, I don't know. It's just I lost my emeralds in the Nether too. Dang it, that's irritating. Well, I'm not going to be upset about it. I just have to realize that I'm playing this game for a reason, and that reason should be to be entertained and to have fun. And I should stop being so precious about the way the Nether. I mean, I think what it comes down to is that I feel like I got cheated by the game. I think that's really what it comes down to. Because when you engage in a game, you're kind of entering into an unspoken contract, a silent agreement, a handshake agreement kind of situation, where the game is going to provide you with entertainment and challenges and rewards, and you're going to have fun. Uh, but if that's not happening, then there's a breach of agreement here, and you have to decide: do you continue playing or not? Is it worth investing your time? That's, I think, the real thing. Is that I've always been very keenly aware of the finality, the limited amount of time you have to do anything. You have a certain window of opportunity to do certain things, and after that certain point, those just become, ideas that they become ideals. When you set yourself up for a goal and you can't reach that goal for whatever reasons there are, uh, it's not that you're failing. It's just that at certain points, certain things are more important to be an ideal than they are to be an idea, and you have to be clear about that. I don't know. It's a lot of soul searching. I think gaming is a good source. It's a good place to do that in. I'm trying to really not get too much into jargon anymore. I'm really trying to just speak as plainly as I possibly can. More for my own understanding of things. Well, okay. Okay, that should do it. So this should get us. I can't remember now. Do I make more off of the paper sale, or do I make more off the book sales? I think I make more off of paper than I do books. So I'm not really Minecrafting right now. I'm playing Animal Crossing. It'd be kind of fun if villagers sent you on quests. You kind of do, actually, in a roundabout way. Like, find me 32, find me, 16 emeralds worth of sticks. I did that. Yay. I'm a quester. Where's my librarians? Okay, cartographer. Librarian, here we go. So it's like, okay, so 3 times 4 is 12. Yeah, see. So 4 cows and 12 pages of paper gives me 1 emerald, as opposed to 24 pages gives me an emerald. Early game leveling, that's okay. Early game leveling, that's okay. But really, you want to go ahead and start making books. That's definitely the thing. Where's the cartographer? Now with this gentleman, you're all about just doing that, but then you can level them up with glass. And now that's not a sustainable trade because there's only so much sand in your overworld, and there's only so much sand in the Nether. And the further out you go, the more risk you have of losing what it is you farm. So you want to be apprised of that concept. So that's what I'm talking about. And so sorry. In terms of what I'm doing in this game, I'm already on the loop. I'm already looping here. See what I'm saying? So I grab a couple of picks. We're good. That's all we got to do. And yeah, so just trying to think of what more is there to do. Is I could set personal goals, because like I said, trophies are fine to go for, but I'm just not feeling trophies for the most part. I don't know. I think the concept about trophies, like the concept about bounties, is just kind of like, or quests is just kind of like, I don't know. I guess it's really more about, I've always been that kind of thinker that what is this long-term value to me? I'm not the short-term investor. I've always been, I know I want certain things to happen with immediacy because I feel that they are valuable to be done that way. Yeah, let's just use the axe. Let's just give them the axe. Let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and oh, I got even more paper, flob, and I have books too already set up. That's cool. So first we're going to go ahead and breed up the cows. Let's see. I don't know. I guess I'm just overthinking it and talking to myself is not as enjoyable as putting this shit on the internet and finding out if anybody else thinks the same or feels the same. That's really what the whole social aspect of it is finding people who think and feel like you, so you have affirmation that you're not a mutant or you're not a wacko, or maybe you want to be the weirdo and you're looking for people to scintillate or tantalize. I'm using jargon again. You're looking for people to shock. You're out for the shock value because that makes you feel good, like, oh, I'm so shocking. Oh, I'm so edgy. Yeah. Never been one of those people either. I like to blow people's minds. I like to, in the context of a story, tell people a story that, oh, what a twist. He was really the bad guy all along kind of situation, because it's good storytelling. But on a day-to-day, as my baseline personality, not really that person. I'm not really seeking to fit in. I'm not really seeking to stand out. I just want to chill and enjoy. I really do. I think if you were going to relate me to a particular, domesticated pet, I would say I'm more of a long-haired cat than anything else. There was a time where I was a lot like a dog, where I needed approval, I needed the pack, I wanted to have that sense of, that's making me nauseous now. I wanted to have that sense of unity and belonging. But then it was like, at a certain point, I was like, this isn't really getting me anywhere. Why am I busting my ass for people's approval who basically are just going to go on to the next person the moment they get bored with me? And do I have to keep doing things to get them not to be bored with me? Why am I chasing this idea? This does not make sense to me. And that's like that's kind of how I feel about gaming in general. I like playing Pac-Man because it's me versus me. It's I'm beating my own high score. There isn't anybody else that I'm trying to compete with. Even when I would go to the arcades, back in the early days when I was a full-on pay-to-play player, because that's what video gaming in the arcade age was. So stop being a whiner about paying to play a game. It's kind of like I only played against my own score. I never, even if I saw that my score was like, even though I might have gotten moved off the board in a week's time, because I only played once a week at the arcade, it was more about putting my score up there and then, basically having a good old time. I wonder how many dogs I could carry. I could probably take all these guys with me into the Nether, and then I'd probably lose them all within 30 seconds. That would be so not fun. Let's make... Oh, wait, did I lose all my cookies too? I lost my cookies. We have a cake? Yes, we do have a cake over here. I forgot about that. There we go. So, got glistening melon and then remembered, oh no, glistening melon is not worth anything unless you have a brewing stand for it, because you can't just eat it and heal yourself. That's golden apples, I think. So yeah, I do have some healing items that I can make in the game, but again, it's going to be digging around for those resources that are just going to get more and more nutty. Let's see, we want to do that. Oh, now that's actually really good because, see, here's the deal. 3 iron gives me 1 axe, 1 silver axe, iron axe, and 1 used iron axe gives me 1 ingot. So 24 emeralds gets me a bar. And 1 bar, that's roughly 1 bar, that's like 8 nuggets there. One emerald gets me 1 bar and a torch. This is a pretty good deal, especially since I do use lanterns quite effectively, quite a lot in this world, in Minecraft, since they made them. I wish we could carry them around. Would be kind of fun to do that. Can I? 4 books for an emerald. That's all I got. Do I have a farmer who wants wheat yet? I wonder if I could change his trade by giving him wheat. Let's just do that. Let's give him a bunch of wheat and see what happens. And we'll do that to you too. Alright, this is where I get stupid and end up getting my character murdered. So like I said, I mean, as long as I get my character back in his house before nightfall, or if I'm prepared to go ahead and shoot things from my rooftop, that's it. That's the loop. That's my gameplay. It's just like in Destiny right now. I load up Destiny every morning, and what do? I play the Gunsmith bounties, and then that's it. I don't really do anything else. You know, there isn't anything really in the game that draws me in beyond that, and I don't feel that that's a bad thing or anything. It's just that, you know, it would be nice if there was something more than that. But I don't know. What am I looking for in Minecraft? What do I want to do in Minecraft? Maybe I will go ahead and just make a super city, make a high-rise kind of situation. I mean, I'm basically a single player here, so I can pretty much do whatever the fuck I want. Or maybe I'll just make a new world and go hobo. Or I could go hobo here. You know, just leave all this behind for a few sessions and then go wander off. Oh, I haven't made a map yet. I should make a map. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. I haven't made a map. I'm going to make a map. Let's make a locator map. So I have that's all the iron I got now. I gotta make some more iron. Yeah, I think I got enough here to... Yep. That's what I'm talking about. Like I said, I don't even use iron that much. It's fucking silly. I'm gonna go make a locator map and see what's going on. I started the world without a map, and I said I wasn't gonna make one until I started exploring more around started building the village. And like I said, right now the village is it's at a stable place. As long as I don't fuck up and, you know, stay up past too late, the golems don't even die. There we go. There's my map room. Alright, so we're going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make a locator map. Plop. And I'm going to stare at the ceiling to activate it. Alright, that's a nice pretty picture of the village. Alright, now we're going to scale it down, because that's always fun. We want to take it to a 3, I think. Yeah, there we go. And there's our classic Minecraft map. Alright, well, we can do this. You know? Oh, wait, we can make a copy, right? Can we make copies of maps? I want to make a copy of a map. I think if I add paper here, put this there... No, it makes a 404. I don't want to do that. I want to zoom out or zoom in. What is this? Oh, that's just a... Okay. Here we go. Help table. Compass will point in the direction. A map lets you see the area you've explored. And your offhand, use the mini-map all the time. A locator map will show where you are. It can help you create, expand, copy, and even name maps. Place paper into the first slot to craft a map. If you add a compass into the second slot, adding paper or a blank map will let you expand or copy your map. Okay. So if I want to make a copy of this and then expand it, how do I expand this? I want to copy this and expand it. I don't want to have this. How do I do that? Huh. Maybe just one piece of paper? Or maybe I do this. Nothing happens there. Anything happen there? Nope. How do I do this? It just wants me to zoom out. I don't want to zoom out. I want to zoom in. So do we... Huh. I'm confused. Oh wait, that's how I do this, sorry. First I gotta make an empty map. There we go. Then I can make a copy of the map. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. I thought I remember it now. So then I want to zoom out on this map. There we go. Now we get the massive world view. That's the biggest we can make it. So this is what I'll take with me when I go running around. This will be like the large world version. Okay, I guess that's what we're going to do then. We're going to go hobo. Just take the map, whoopsie. Put everything else away and just run off and see what happens. No beds. Gonna fight all night. And if my character dies, I come back here. No, I'm teasing. I don't know. Wait, yeah, see, because this is my basic map that I want. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Hard to figure out what I want to do in the game. Shouldn't be, but it is. And that might be another thing, too. I might be going through a state of decision paralysis, where I'm like, I know I have all these different options that I could do things, but how do I want to do it? Like Matt Mercer would ask in Critical Role, how do you want to do this? Okay, so that's north facing. I suppose if I got rid of that, I could just make a wall. I like to put my maps on the north facing, simply because it does make things a bit more fun. Ta-da! And yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. So yeah, I guess Minecraft is going to either pretty much set up like Destiny right now, where I'm just playing the one character on the daily and running a farm, basically. Like in Destiny right now, I'm farming enhancement cores because when the new season comes up, I might want to infuse my current weapons into higher levels, or I might want to masterwork a new, nicer weapon. But we'll see what happens. I'm going to be out of this. This is really just for my own personal reference. I'll look back on this in a couple of weeks and go, man, what the fuck was your problem? It's just a fucking game, dude. Like you said, you could be spending your time making paintings that you can sell at an art show, or, I don't know, writing a story, or reading a book, or having a good conversation with a real human being instead of talking to yourself. Well, you still are a human being, of course, but whatever. Anyway, if you really did watch all this, props to you, bro. It's like 45 minutes worth of me meandering through conversations of myself. But yeah, I guess you can catch me later, and thanks for stopping by.